Dope. What up? Welcome back to the Millennial Meltdown podcast.
We're in it.
I'm here with Mike Turner.
What is good?
What's up, man?
How you doing? We're out here in Levine, dude.
We are.
I don't know. Do people know that? I don't want to call you out.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think so. Technically, I'm in Phoenix.
Is it technically Phoenix?
Which is weird, yeah, because Levine's like one street that way.
Is it?
Yeah,
this is
so
deep.
weird.
Only time I've ever been out this way is when I went to prison in Tent City for 30 days.
Shut up. You
yeah,
went to prison in Tent City, huh?
What was it called? I think it's actually technically jail. Because prison's like, you don't want to be in prison.
You wore the pink underwear and all that shit?
I didn't have to do that. No, I just did the DUI, and then it was like work release, but I was in there for 30 days.
Oh, you had a DUI?
Yeah. It was
one of those
classic
people.
stuff. Yeah, 2010.
Have you learned your lesson?
Yeah, it took me a decade, but 2020, clean slate, no Deweys. No, I just did the one.
Just this year?
Yeah, just this year. I figured maybe don't do that.
Got one like a month ago.
Yeah, once you get one, I think that you should learn your lesson.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's funny because Ross was just on the podcast and he was telling me about how he has a DUI too.
Oh, really?
Ross Dinsdale.
Yep, he looks like a guy that's got a DUI.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
He definitely does.
Yeah, 100%. Looks like a DUI walking.
That was in 2020? Wait.
No. Mine was 2010.
That was in 2010.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I am 33. So
okay.
I'm barely a millennial.
Oh.
No, actually, what is the millennial?
You're for sure a millennial.
Yeah, I'm definitely a millennial.
It's yeah, you're like just under the cutoff. It's like, well, I mean, now it's changing, right? Because when I started this podcast, I was like, it's from fucking 21 to 35 or whatever. So now it's like 23 to 37 because everyone's getting older. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started this podcast when like millennial was still crazy overused in the media by like millennials eating Tide Pods and shit. And I'm like, that's not my generation, man.
Nah.
So like that was one of the reasons I picked millennial because it was in the news all the time.
Yes.
And because I was like, no, that's my generation, and we're not doing that shit. So
yeah, I feel like we're lumped into a lot of things. I think that anytime you have like, for example, that's like a 14-year stretch, right, of people that is a millennial. That's so dumb because I know for a fact that I'm 33, but if I talk to somebody that's like 28, they have like completely different life experiences than
I am 28.
You're 28? Yeah. So like there's things that you loved that I have no idea about. There's that little weird pocket of like, I think it started with our generations, like with the 80s babies. It really started with the technology moving so fast, but like things are just different now. Yeah. So different. Like I remember the beginning of Napster. You probably only remember like the end of Kazaa.
I for sure. No, I use Napster.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, I'm a little different in that regard because I have two older brothers.
Okay.
So, like, I grew up with, like, Super Nintendo.
Yes.
And regular Nintendo. And fucking, I remember when, my brother got an N64. And, I wasn't allowed to play it.
Okay.
But, like, I have a lot of friends. Like, my best friends, they're, like, the oldest ones in their household. So they don't fucking remember having, like, a Nintendo 64.
Sure.
Like,
I was the youngest, so I remember, like, regular Nintendo and shit like that.
Like, PlayStation 2 was, like, their first console.
Dude, when we went from regular Nintendo to PlayStation in our house. So that was a big come up. Yeah. We were not that affluent, so to speak. And so that was, like, a huge thing. I remember like, what the fuck did PlayStation 1?
Yeah.
Twisted Metal 1 and 2.
Yep. Twisted Metal was
Tomb Raider.
A fucking truck with the head on fire.
Yeah, Sweet Tooth.
There you go.
But it is wild though. You know what I'm saying though? Like the 5-year differences are like,
oh, it's huge.
It's huge.
It's different. I mean, you grew up watching different cartoons.
Yeah, I was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I remember Barney was a big thing. Did you watch
like He-Man? I
know of He-Man, but I watched Thundercats a lot. Thundercats is huge. Animaniacs, Darkwing Duck. What was it called? Not Jungle Book, but Jungle Tales or something.
Were you and
then DuckTales?
DuckTales kid.
Tailspin is what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
And then DuckTales for sure.
Okay.
Huge on DuckTales.
Yeah.
Huge on Batman and Superman actually. Like from 4 to 5, WB would play.
There you go.
I think it was Superman first and then Batman second.
I'm a big Superman fan.
Yeah, and I used to fuck with Superman heavy.
Yeah.
And then
did you see my tattoo on my leg?
No. What do you got? You have shit. That's a whole calf worth of that's Superman. A shin of Superman.
Yeah.
What did you like the cartoons? Did you like the movies or what?
Oh yeah, I grew up on all of
the shit.
Yeah, Superman was always my favorite. And then I started wearing Superman shirts to school in like 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah.
Like, all the time.
So I had, I guess that you would call them technically just pajamas or something. And they were like that suit, the Superman suit.
Yeah.
But I would wear it. I think it was my brother's originally, and then it gets passed down to me, right? I was the youngest. And
you're the youngest.
Yeah, I'm the youngest.
See, I'm the youngest too.
Yeah, and I would wear that Superman suit literally everywhere for like, my mom said like maybe a year or two.
That's so
like
funny.
to the store and shit like that. I had like yellow boots, so I didn't have the red boots. I had yellow boots, but it matched with the belt.
That's funny, dude.
And then color scheme was still on point. And then I would ride my bike with it. So I had this Superman cape with not tire marks on it. I guess it was like chain marks, like grease from the chain, because it would get caught up in the bike.
Yeah.
So.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, big Superman guy. Those were huge. I remember that shit, man.
And that was like those cartoons are on like the DC app now.
Those were great.
Yeah.
I remember when Superman and Batman converged, because
that was like Super Friends, I think.
You got some other people involved, but like usually it was just these standalone half hours.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was one time that Batman needed Superman or vice versa. I think it was Superman needed Batman to come through and help because Dr. Doom was like really taking over. Isn't that a dude? Dr. Doom?
Yeah, Dr. Doom.
It's like one of the worst dudes, right?
Well, Dr. Doom is from Marvel.
Who am I thinking of?
So
them?
It's probably someone.
Dude, it was somebody that was coming from outer space that had like some fucking.
Oh shit! Who knows?
Flying like. It was ominous.
It could even be a guy named Dr. Doom for all I fucking know.
It was either way. I remember being like coming back from school like, this could be the day both these cats die.
That's so funny.
Like,
Thanks,
Superman
babe.
and Batman are dead. You know what I mean? But we're already breaking down DC Comics. Oh, this is the best restaurant in.
Are you sure
you don't want to town right here?
Are you sure you don't want to play?
I'm good right now.
All right.
This is amazing though. I love this.
Thanks, babe. I love you.
This is occurring.
Yeah, try to feed people when they come on the podcast.
Food is good. Food's
full service operation.
This is great. Yeah.
Yeah. My if I could if I like won $1 million today, I would for sure use like the after tax part, like 500,000 to fucking start a podcast studio in Phoenix.
Yeah.
100%. I would love doing podcasts every fucking day.
The business side of it is tough too. You got to be able to grow it. I see it in New York.
Oh yeah, you'd have to get some celebrities. Like I'd have to get like some D-backs players, Archie to come do one, or like you'd have to get some solid people to stick to like a weekly podcast, and then like the contractual agreement of like, yeah, I get 30% of whatever the fuck you make.
It's just a tough market to make things sometimes stick like that. You see it happen in New York and LA, and then you really think on it. You're like, well, the talent's all there,
right?
All the people that.
They started with people who already have a fan base.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or people that started podcasts way before anybody trusted it, already have that fan base, and they're already just rolling in that.
Right.
It is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But
I was going to ask you, is you have one brother or two?
I have one brother and one sister.
Oh, and they're both older?
Both older. My sister's the oldest, and then brother's the middle, and then I'm the youngest.
Oh, okay, cool.
We're all like 2 years apart.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's like me and my brother, too.
Yeah.
We're like 22 months apart.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're 23. He's October 84. I'm November 86.
Oh, there you go. I'm November also. November 3rd.
Nice. November 3rd. That's a good one. Anybody die that day? No. November.
It's usually election day, which sucks. I want it to be a national holiday really bad so I can have it off every year.
Yeah. You're not a Sagittarius though.
I'm a Scorpio.
You're a Scorpio. Okay. All right. 11/3. That's a good one. It's strong.
You're a Sagittarius? You're at the end of the month?
I'm Sagittarius, yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Strong. Firm.
Firm.
We're
at the Scorpion right there.
Oh yeah, do you believe in that shit at all?
Do I believe in it? Not really.
I think it's interesting.
But I think it's really interesting.
I read it a lot and I'm like, oh, that's me.
It's like it's been around for like so many years that I'm like, I mean, it's kind of cool.
I think the one thing I sometimes simplify the thought with is that we are all made of stardust, as we know.
That's fair.
And doesn't it make more sense to compare it to things in the stars?
Yeah. No, it absolutely does. I mean, the Mayans based everything on the stars, so.
Yeah.
And
they're not here anymore because they knew better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
they did have like some crazy advanced technology for fucking 10,000 years ago, though. Like flowing water through cities and like tons of crazy shit.
Some nutty shit. There's some nutty shit with those.
Are you a big nerd into that type of stuff? Like I love old history and stuff?
Yes, I love old history.
That's cool.
So I like so I always...
You watch like shit on the History Channel, like Ancient Aliens and shit like that?
Yeah, I watch that. I like the guy with the crazy hair. Yeah. I always like the idea that like Egypt and stuff like that, and the pyramids in all over the world, like the pyramids in Egypt, but then also like I've been to Mexico City a couple times, and they have...
That sounds sick.
Yeah, there's some pretty badass pyramids down there. But I always love how like the Egyptian ones, you'll watch the architecture and stuff like that, and you'll see 3 pyramids lined up perfectly with stars, which is insane, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they have holes within the pyramids that
collect sunlight.
A certain time during the year, the star will align perfectly with, or whatever like that, and it'll go all the way through to the tomb or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Like a perfectly aligned thing, and it'll happen. This is now thousands of years later, and it'll still happen, right?
Yeah.
So they did that back in whatever that was, before Christ even, right? That was BC?
Yeah.
And now we have all the technology in the world, and you can have an architect build a brand new home, and he'll still fuck up the cupboards. Mm-hmm. That's nuts to me.
Or like the foundation. Yeah. Or like, this wall is not perfectly perpendicular with that one and shit.
And we have all the technology in the world, but these motherfuckers had none of that. They just had like... literally somebody whipping them and saying, I'll probably kill your family and definitely rape your daughter if you fuck this up. So maybe we should threaten more architects with things like that. But, there's
You're right on that.
Maybe that's what it should be.
Fucking, the shit that blows my mind, like thinking about like all that is how many cultures and civilizations built pyramids around the world all at the same time. And they're like the same basic structure. It's like in China, there's pyramids, in Mexico, in Egypt. Mm-hmm. And so many of them are the exact same shape and structure and match like the same star systems. And none of those people could share information back then.
Right.
That we know of.
It's nutty.
So like how or why did all these different civilizations build pyramids? To like the exact fucking scale. Like the base, I think it's the base of... one pyramid in Mexico is the exact same size, like square footage, as the one in Egypt.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like, it's like the exact same size. Like, they're built different structurally, but they're built to the same, like, blueprint specifications.
It's nuts.
It's weird.
It is nuts.
And it's like, why? Well, it'd be like if I just told you, go build a house.
Right.
Mike, you go build a house. I'm going to build a house.
Right.
And then we came back and we built the exact same fucking house.
Right. Ranch style. Well, I mean, that sounds like most suburbs.
Well, yeah. But, like, they share the plans.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it funny that we're duplicating ancient pyramids, actually, with suburbs?
Oh,
we're just building the same thing over and over again.
Oh, totally. Like, the house next to mine is a mirror image of mine.
You're definitely in a, it's like,
cookie cutter.
I always think of the opening of Weeds.
Yeah. Little boxes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Levine is definitely one of those. It gets tough out here.
Yeah.
This is one of those places in Phoenix where you don't come here you always come here on purpose. Never.
That's so fucking funny.
Never by accident.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of places in Phoenix that are like that for sure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful community.
Honestly, now that highway got finished.
Yeah, you got a 202 out here now, right?
I drive to Chandler in 15 minutes. It's fucking sick.
Where's the 202 at? It's like
it's on 59th.
Yeah.
So just right down the road.
Crush it. It's brand new too. Yeah, no potholes.
Yeah. So going to Improv Mania now is like
it's big.
It's like 15 minutes less for me on Thursday nights, which is sick.
That's big. Is that the open mic night?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. That's a good little room.
Yeah, I like it. It's like the only open mic that like it's just a stage, like when it's dark and it's like you're in a comedy club doing an open mic.
Yeah.
But I mean, well, it was at least, but now the Copper Blues one's on Monday, so
which is nice.
That one's dope.
Yeah. You been to
that? Just once.
Just once.
Yeah.
You should go every week.
I know I need to.
The
for
booker's
sure.
there.
I know I need to. It's like, but I just started doing comedy, so now we can talk about comedy. I started doing comedy 6 months ago.
Oh, okay.
So, for me, it was something that like I like thought about doing it back in like March.
Yeah.
And started talking to like some comics around and like kind of working up the courage. And people were like, yeah, come out to the mics. And like, so I went and like watched a couple mics and finally like worked up the courage and finally got on the stage in July.
Interesting. What made you want to do comedy?
I think I've always just been a fan of comedy. And like I grew up watching comedy, like grew up watching Ron White and fucking Larry the Cable Guy and fucking
Blue Collar.
Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
I
owned the DVDs
Apex
back
comedy.
in the day.
People say the best comedy ever. No, nobody says that. Ron White though is one of the best comics ever.
I love Ron White. I grew up watching SNL. Like, I mean, I was always one of those kids like 16 watching fucking SNL at night and shit. Like, and I just feel like I feel like I can fucking do it. Like, I always I've been to so many shows at, like, the Tempe Improv and Stand Up Live and shit.
And you're like, I'm funnier than Ron White.
Fucking no. But there was for sure, like, some openers and shit that I was like, I feel like I could do these. Like, I could fucking open this show. Like, why not?
Yeah.
And so I just worked up the courage and was like, yeah, I'm fucking going for it. Like, you know.
There you go. 6 months in. So what, do your parents still love each other? It's a big question, I think.
Oh, my parents are divorced.
Oh, okay. So you could be funny.
They're both remarried.
Yeah, it could work.
Yep.
That's usually my litmus test. That's all
so
I ever
funny.
ask people.
Yeah, no.
If your parents still love each other, it's like, why are you doing this then?
My parents got divorced when I was in college. I went to college at NAU.
Oh, wow. I go up to Flagstaff a lot.
I know. I saw it on your Instagram. Mm-hmm. I was there the next day.
Oh, really?
I went there up on the 26th, day after Christmas.
Okay, yeah, I dipped. I think I left that day.
Probably left that day, yeah.
Yeah, it was snowy, man.
Yeah.
I almost didn't get to leave.
Yeah, I saw on your Instagram you were walking around downtown. You go to, like, the Gopher Hole?
No, it was closed because it was the holidays, so a lot of stuff was closed.
Oh, okay.
So it was Christmas, so the only thing that was open was Irish,
Collins.
It's called Collins, and then the Monty B.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, classic staples.
Yeah, I played pool at Gopher Hole on the 26th for like 2 hours with Sam and
there you go.
My buddies there. Yeah,
they got a decent jukebox.
Yeah,
you can get into some really hardcore metal in that jukebox though.
I like metal, so I'm cool.
Really?
With that,
yeah. Because I've been in there one time when somebody had about 12 songs playing. I was like, I might leave.
The shirt I'm wearing is from a tour that was just at the what the fuck's it called? Auction Pavilion.
Oh, really?
Like over summer. Yeah, Sum 41 and The Used and I don't know, whoever the fuck is written on the back of the shirt.
Did you come up and listen to a lot of pop punk?
Oh yeah, pop punk's my shit.
Yeah, there you go. I'm a big pop punk guy.
Yeah.
It was only a window of time when I was really into it, but man, it was the heyday for it. Because it was like 1998 to like 2002 really was like its peak, I would say.
Yep.
So I liked like all that stuff like Mest and like Sugar Cult.
Okay,
and Newfound Glory.
Yep.
Blink-182.
Yep.
What was the other one? Hot Rod Circuit. Remember them? And then Midtown. Remember Midtown?
Yeah, I do.
And then early brand new though.
I'm trying to find my Spotify Wrapped. Like Blink-182 is like my biggest artist I listen to of the decade.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
honestly, they're pretty damn good.
But I know I had one that's on here that's like, you're one of the biggest pop punk listeners on Spotify.
Really?
Whatever, yeah.
Hey, pop punk.
Like, fuck yeah.
People dealt with 9/11 differently. I dealt with it with pop punk.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, do you follow like Matt Cutshall on Instagram? You know who that is?
Mm-mm.
You know who that is?
No.
He brought back, he does like Emo is Dead or Emo's Not Dead.
Okay.
He does like a bunch of videos. Oh, man. This guy's like pretty big in LA. Maybe I'll meet him.
Oh, is he like make fun of emo kids?
No, he is an emo kid. So,
okay.
Like, he's like, felt emo again, might delete later.
Okay.
And like he dresses up as an emo kid. Fucking Spotify ads. Or YouTube ads.
YouTube ads, yeah. 1917, though. It does look good.
It does look really good. You into movies and shit, too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about this movie recently. I watched Dunkirk
recently
for the second or third time. Solid.
I just watched the Golden Globes. Sunday night, I was supposed to go do a mic, and I was like, I'm going to stay home and watch the Golden Globes. Dude.
Really?
Like, fucking A.
Maybe comedy isn't for you, then. Those are your choices that you're making.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I need to get more serious about comedy for sure. It's like for this first 6 months for me, it was really just like I need to go do this at least once a fucking week and just stick with it and make sure I'm not going to be like everyone else and be like, yeah, I'm not going to fucking do it. You know what I mean?
I mean, you should probably try to do it like 4 or 5 times a week.
I would like to, for sure. With a full-time job, 8 to 5 and shit, like, I think 3 nights a week is probably like best I could do.
I mean, that's what I had up until June. I had a 9 to 5 the whole time.
Yeah.
And I would feel weird if I didn't have like 4 or 5 sets in a week.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what I mean. That's honestly, it's kind of black and white, but that's what it takes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You never hear somebody like, yeah, but it took me 20 years to do this. I've just been doing 1 a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
For 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, think about the people that really make it, and if you want to be that, it
takes
for
sure.
A certain level of sacrifice and commitment that a lot of people are uncomfortable with making, and most people don't want to do it or aren't willing to do it. And it's just a matter of being real with yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for me, it's something that like I was like, I just got to give this a shot and make sure it's not something that I'm like, yeah, it was fun, but it's not for me. I think it is something that's for me, so I need to like hit the ground running with it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you only get this level of exuberance and like excitement about it for a while, and then it'll deaden you inside, and you'll keep doing it though because you're already in too deep, and then you'll get that level of dead inside will rise up like a phoenix.
Yeah.
And become the inspiration for everything else.
How long have you been doing comedy?
7.5. April will be 8 years.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And all in Phoenix the whole time, or?
Yeah. I've been living in Phoenix the whole time, and then I do shows everywhere. I've done, which has been cool. Like this past year, I did my first time out of the country. I was in France and England, and did some shows there, which was really cool.
That's sick.
And then this year, trying to get back to Europe, but then I go to New York a good amount. I just try to like go everywhere in the country just to make sure my jokes are funny everywhere, which is important. The Midwest is important to be funny there.
That's definitely important.
Yeah, because that's where real people live.
Yeah, I'm going to Ohio for work in 3 weeks.
What part?
Columbus.
You should try to do a mic.
Yeah, I already looked some up. There's one Tuesday night that I'm there and Wednesday night right by where I'll be staying. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, Ohio is
It'll be my first time out of Arizona, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Doing comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you've never traveled outside of Arizona?
Never, ever.
Hey, I know some people.
No, I went to
people
Chicago.
Never left Sunny Slope.
Went to Chicago 3 fucking times for work last year. So.
You didn't do comedy there?
I hadn't started doing comedy yet.
That's the best city.
Yeah.
That's not the best, but that's one of the best cities.
Now that I think about it, I'm like, I wish I was doing comedy back in fucking May when I was there.
Maybe not. Are you? Yeah, so how many? So you probably can count how many times you've done it. At this point, you've probably done it, what, 15,
like
20 times?
Like mics?
Yeah.
If I, like, tried, yeah. Probably done, like, 20 mics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
In, like, 6 months. Better than the first one, that's for fucking sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely to the point now where, like, I mean, I've done, like, I did, like, the Stir Crazy monthly open mic. And that was, like, the first open mic I did with, like, with, like, an actual crowd of, like, 50 people.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
How'd that go?
I thought it went well.
So probably pretty bad.
Yeah, it was probably okay.
I thought I killed. No, it's like one of those things.
But I like paid for the video, and like just watching myself on video helped. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to stop doing that and fucking don't do this type of shit. So, I mean, I definitely try to like take it pretty seriously. Like I record all my sets, I listen to them, I fucking take notes.
Oh
like,
really?
Yeah, I record them on my phone.
Me. I just do.
Yeah.
I should probably record and listen a lot more, but yeah.
Like I sat down and wrote and made sure I had like a full 5-minute set before I even did like an open mic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like practiced them and shit. And like I don't do any of those jokes anymore. They're all terrible.
Oh, sure.
But I approached it like the same way I approach most things. Is like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it well. And so I was like, I don't want to be, because I've seen so many kids like do a fucking open mic and just walk off in like a minute and a half because they don't fucking have any jokes to say or anything to say in general.
It's tough. I mean, I would say if you never did it again, you'd done something that 99.9% of people would never do.
Yeah.
Which is One of them is just publicly speaking, but on top of that, people don't like public speaking. People could be good at public speaking, but wouldn't do comedy.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
Because public speaking, it's easy to be funny in that, because nobody expects you to be funny.
Right.
This shit, somebody paid money for you to make them laugh.
Right.
Like,
no one's paid money to see me laugh so far, so other than that one time with Stir Crazy, I guess.
What they did? Somebody said that?
And then what?
What do you mean?
No, I just mean like I just do open mics. I just mean like
right.
I haven't done really any like book shows. I did that one book show at Improv Mania with you.
Oh yeah. On the weekend.
Yep. Other than that, yeah.
It's tough. Yeah, I mean you got to get out there. The part of it's just grinding your titties off, and then the other part is like networking and meeting the right people, and then believing in yourself and putting yourself out there again and again and failing in the right ways. Yeah. It's fucking miserable.
I feel like, honestly, if I started doing comedy at a younger point, though, it wouldn't worked out for me. Like, if I tried it when I was 24, just where I was in life in general, like...
Okay.
I probably would have done one mic and just been like, yeah, it was cool.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't start till I was 25.
I just feel like where I'm at, like, in my life, like, I have, like, a good foundation. And, like, I mean, I have a full-time job. I have, like, a nice house. Like, I fucking have my shit together. I just know, like...
You got plenty of yentarias by you out here. You can get a used tire within 5 miles of this place.
That's for sure.
Like... Anywhere you look,
for sure.
You run into a used tire.
And what's funny is I have bought a $30 tire.
100%.
At a 24-hour
100%
fucking tire place before. I fucking blew a tire coming home from the Renaissance Festival.
Oh, damn.
Like 5 years ago on I-17.
That's deep, because that's the other side of town.
And, I just pulled off, like, right on the first exit. Looked up 24-hour tire place, drove down there. Guy's like, it'll be $30. And I was like, cool, man, here's my card. And he's like, we don't take card.
Yeah.
And I was like,
in fact, I'm not even here right now.
Yeah. And he's like, you can walk down to that ATM down the street.
Yeah.
You can drive my fucking car because he's fucking putting a new tire on it.
Damn.
Fucking walked across the highway and like across the street to an ATM at fucking like 11:45 at night. So
you
fucking
can get
funny.
You can get used tires. You can get good tacos from the same guy usually.
Yeah.
These are all the same people.
Are you from Arizona?
No, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
I thought you were from Cincinnati.
Yeah, but I've lived here for long
You're
enough to know.
Bengals fan.
Know the cross streets. Yeah, I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan. It's been tough life. I think it's a character builder more than anything.
Yeah.
I've been through more hardships than most people will ever have to. Just being a Bengals and Reds fan. And
I'm a Cardinals fan, so I'm with you.
I mean, kind of, but not really, probably. I mean, at least you guys were in the Super Bowl to lose it.
Yeah, to the Steelers.
Yeah. Who I fucking hate.
We got robbed.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Oh, dude, that dude's left toe still hasn't touched the end zone.
That's what I'm saying, bro. 1 foot down.
I'm with that. 100%. I fucking hate them. I'm a Suns fan, too, so those are tough years. The Robert Horry hip check, horrible stuff. Bad officiating, but...
I follow baseball and football super well. Basketball, I'll watch occasionally.
Baseball, okay, so you like the D-backs?
Oh, yeah. When I found out Ross was the rally cowboy, I, like, for sure had, like, a fangirl moment. I was like, shut the fuck up, dude. You're the rally cowboy?
What is he?
He's the rally cowboy for the Diamondbacks.
What does that even mean?
At the Diamondbacks game, he's the rally cowboy.
The rally cowboy? I don't know if I've seen that. Is that the... he's at all the games.
Yeah, he's been on ESPN and shit. I've met him at a game.
And didn't connect it?
Mm-hmm.
I know him.
God, motherfucker, dude. Fucking ads.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, he's the rally cowboy. I mean,
it's kind of more sad than impressive, but...
Yeah, you'll have to go back and listen to my podcast and find out all about it.
Yeah. Enthusiastic cowboy. Oh, he goes to every game?
Yeah, that's Ross. Not every game, but a lot of them. Yeah, that's Ross.
What section's he in?
He's like down low right there. But he goes all over, so everyone knows him. So he was on my podcast and I was talking to him about it. He's like, yeah, since everyone knows me, they just let me go down into whatever section I want. Wow. I don't know if I would tell a lot of people that. That's great. It's fucking, dude. Like he gets people fucking jacked up at the games too.
That's wild.
Yeah, I have for sure been at several games and like high fived him because he's come in my section.
Yeah.
Because I love going to Diamondbacks games. I'll buy like the summer pass and shit for the cheap tickets.
Right.
And then just go sit down low like 4 innings in.
I used to work at the Fridays up there.
Oh, really?
For like 4 or 5 seasons.
Because you did like news, right? Or some shit?
Oh, I did that with them, yeah. But this is like 08, back when Dan Heron and Brandon Webb were there. I was like at the Fridays just serving as a waiter.
Really?
That shit was dope. Because I would just go watch baseball and then make money on top of it.
Yeah, that is cool.
But yeah, no, I did stuff with NBC Sports last year.
Okay.
For like a year and a half, and a bunch of stuff with the D-backs. Because Torey Lavelle is the homie.
How'd you get into that shit?
They just they were looking for somebody, and they needed somebody to come in and audition, and they saw 1 or 2 people, and it didn't make sense, and somebody mentioned my name, and I came in, and it just kind of worked with what they were looking for.
That's sick.
Yeah, so it worked perfect, and then kind of started with like just trying to tell jokes on stage about the sports, and that was kind of lame, but I knew I had to do that to get like on TV, so I was like, well, whatever, I'll keep doing it. And I finally told him, we were talking about it, I was like, just put me in the mix with the fans.
Yeah.
And we finally did that, and that was pretty good.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was fun. Did that a lot with the Cardinals, but then did a bunch with the D-backs, and then I did one with the Phoenix Open, the big golf thing, the Waste Management Open.
Yeah.
We went out there for the Pro-Am, and I was messing with, it was Torey Lavello and AQ Shipley, some other people. But Torey Lavello was there, the Diamondbacks manager, and he was really cool. He has a good sense of humor. His dad used to work on the Mr. Ed show.
Really?
The horse, yeah.
That's cool.
I know. So he had he grew up in like kind of comedic television world. So he was really cool. So I've talked with him a couple times since. Those guys are cool.
That is sick.
I've gotten into some cool parties with Archie Bradley, and Archie Palooza last year was cool.
Really?
I got to interview Kurt Warner.
That's cool.
That was cool.
I would love to meet Kurt Warner.
I met him and his wife, and then I met Cliff Kingsbury. At the Pro-Am, the coolest thing was probably being at the Pro-Am last year, and I met Emmett Smith, Jason Kidd.
Shit. No.
Patrick Peterson.
Jason Kidd. Man, my fucking brother would freak out if I met Jason Kidd.
I know.
That
was really cool. And he was pretty chill. Yeah, all of them were like, you always want to, or you never want one of them to be just an asshole. You like never meet your heroes type mentality. But they were all pretty cool. Emmett to me was like, I got chills meeting Emmett Smith. That dude was just, I don't know. It's as early as I can remember, yeah.
That's sick, dude.
So that was cool. Yeah, I've gotten to do some cool stuff here in Phoenix.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would fucking love to get, I've always told my fucking fiance, Sam, that I'd love to get, like, a job at, like, a news agency or fucking somewhere doing shit like that. Because, I got a degree in film.
Okay.
And, I always wanted to do, like, camera work somewhere or, like, some shit for someone, like, looked into radio jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
But as, like, my income's gone up doing what I do, like, I'm a consultant.
Yeah.
And I stay at home.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's really hard to walk away from my, like, 6-figure salary and
100%.
fucking do something like that. So
100%.
The more money I make, I'm like, it's like so hard to be like, yeah, I'll totally take a $35,000 a year job. Like,
I just walked away from a 6-figure job.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing comedy.
That's dope, though.
Yeah. It's insane. Most people would think it's crazy, but yeah, I did that this year.
It's sick.
Yeah. Sometimes you get to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't ever want to be doing something that I don't care about.
And you good financially doing that?
Yeah, so I had
figured it all out.
Yeah, saved up a little bit, and
do you want another beer? I might grab one.
Yeah, give me one. But yeah, I've been able to make it work financially. Trying to stretch the money, and then if not, I'll just start going back to moving oxy or getting these pain pillars moving again, and really, really make money in the suburbs the right way. Or the white way, I should say.
I don't know you well enough to know if you're joking or not.
Nah, I just don't like, I had the job, I was good at that, it was a sales job, but I just didn't like, I don't know.
I'm from Lake Havasu, I'm not judging, I like to party, so.
Yeah. But I just didn't want to, I don't know. Something about a job that is not about you.
Yeah.
Like being in a job that, excuse me, like waking up and doing something that if somebody didn't tell you had to do, you wouldn't have done.
Oh, absolutely. That's every job I've ever fucking had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hate that. And I think that I have a unique skill set to be able to potentially make shit work on my own without having to ever be told what to do. Or if I am being told what to do, it's hopefully being told to do something that I already like.
Willingly.
Yeah.
So. That's how I feel about every job I've had. People are always like, do you like your job? And I'm like, it's a job. Like, it pays the bills. But, yeah, I like doing creative shit. Like, that's a big reason I got into comedy is because I've written comedy screenplays. I've written short films. I submit fucking scripts to contests and shit online. Like, done okay in some of them. Gotten, like, semifinals and finals a couple times.
That's awesome.
But, like, my biggest thing is, like, everyone's like, what's your, like, ideal job? And I'm like, I want to fucking make movies. Like, I want to fucking sell a movie. I want to fucking... Really, I would like to direct a movie. And that's, like, what I've, like, been talking to a couple of my friends that are in film production down here. And I have a script I really want to film. So I just talked to, like, a makeup artist girl about doing it. And that's, like, my next, like, kind of goal in my life, like, creatively, is doing, like, a short film and actually, like, doing, like, a solid, like, 10, 15-minute short film and, like, submitting it to film festivals and shit like that.
I mean, the thing is, you can do it so much easier now than you used to be able to. Like, you could
easier than 10 years ago in college.
You could do it all on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
I got the 11, and that shit hits different.
Yeah.
It's, like, crazy with the videos and stuff like that you can do. The quality of video that you can get with something in your hand and just stay in your pocket all the time.
You can't even tell the difference between a phone camera and, like, a high production camera. It's
nuts.
A lot of the times these days.
It's nuts. So, but I say that to say, I mean, sometimes it's just, like, a matter of doing it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, and that's, like, that's the big thing with anything, right? Like, podcasting, fucking comedy, anything. It's, like, you just got to put in the fucking work and hours and fucking make it happen. Mm-hmm. It's, like, the biggest thing, like, I feel like I'm 28 and, like, going to open mics and shit. So many people are younger than me. They, like, talk to me about shit. You know what I mean? They're like, what advice do you have? I'm like, dude, I've been doing comedy less time than you fucking have. But I'm 7 years older than they are. You know? So I'm like, dude, you just got to put in the time. You got to fucking work at it.
You got to definitely put in the time. Yeah. 10,000 hours, all that shit.
Yeah, right. And it's like open mics are 5 minutes at a fucking time. So,
yeah, the math doesn't really work out that well.
No.
But,
like, and that's why, like, I mean, people do, like, hosting and shit like that, and they try to host their own open mics to get more stage time and shit like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the grind out here in Phoenix, especially. You got to do your own shit. I was producing at one point, like, 3 different shows.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to leave town, and I'll probably still come back and produce one on a monthly basis.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, just little pop-up secret shows. But
and how did you... Yeah, I saw you get into that secret shows. I started reading up on that because I saw you post about them. It's pretty cool. I thought about signing... Because I saw on the website you can sign up, like, a location.
Yeah.
Like, my backyard or even my fucking living room downstairs is fucking a perfect location to set up a mic and a fucking...
I mean, I could...
do a secret show.
You want to do one at your house?
I would love to.
How many people... Do you have a pool or anything in the back?
Nothing.
So
we go look at it after.
Yeah, we can. No, I'm saying, how many people you think you could fit back there? Seated.
100.
Really?
Yeah. You could have a wedding in my backyard.
Interesting. Yeah, we could do one.
We don't have chairs, but yeah.
I got a chair guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would love to.
That's what we do. We literally just need the space, and all we do is we set it up and we market it the right way,
That'd
and people
be
come
sick,
out.
Dude. Yeah, especially if I could hop on the mic and do 5 or 7 minutes.
Nah, I wouldn't. Don't get too ahead of yourself.
Oh, okay.
No, but I mean, definitely we could do that. That it's called Don't Tell Comedy.
Right.
and it started in L.A. with my buddy Kyle K.A. started it. And, I think it started like 2017 maybe, and it's already only, barely 3 years going. And last year we were in like 50 cities.
Shut up. That's sick.
Yeah, they did a lot. Like, there's some metrics. I don't know. I'd be lying if I started rattling all off, but it's a crazy amount of total shows that they've done, like thousands of shows. And
I would do one like semi-monthly, like 6 a year here, dude.
Yeah. It's a.
My backyard is fucking perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there? And then you got to figure if there's people in Levine that want comedy, probably, right? You would think.
I don't see why not. People go to open mics in fucking Goodyear, so.
Yeah, right. So it could be that'd be interesting. But yeah, we usually go places like we can go to a home, but then some of the cool spots we've done, we did Tattoo Parlor in Gilbert, and then we've done a couple of like CrossFit gyms and some yoga studios and shit like that. So we've done some really cool spots. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I wasn't sure on is like providing people a bathroom.
Yeah,
they could just come into my house like fucking guys.
They could, yeah.
That's what I thought of my backyard, though, because I was like, well, people can just go through my fucking side gate and like.
Yeah. So we had, right. But, and then we did have one at somebody's house, and we just told them that they had to use the bathroom at the gas station down the street.
Oh, there you go.
But I don't think there's anywhere to walk around here. You got to tell them to go get the ATM where you get the cash for the llantadilla.
Right? Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, they could use my bathroom downstairs.
Yeah.
That's just the only thing is like. Monitoring strangers coming in my house, I guess.
Yes, 100%. Well, we got all that insured. It's no, Don't Tell has been cool. So it's if you're listening and you're interested, just go to don'ttellcomedy.com, and then you can like get on the there's a email list that you get on, which is kind of an old school approach, but it still works. And then if it
is not that old school, I promise you.
Yeah, right.
I'm a marketing consultant.
That is true. Email's still the way to get to people.
So what I do is help people automate emails.
Oh, really?
That's my job.
Well, there you go. You should meet these guys. So
yeah, you could probably hook them up.
Yeah, I know the guy. And then if you get on the email list, they'll email you whenever there's one in your area. And,
I am for sure on the email list.
Yeah. So like, look, I know Atlanta's a big hub for it.
Yeah,
Boston's
Chicago,
huge.
Denver.
Austin, Denver, yep. So all the major cities, and then even like small cities. Like I've done, look at Cincinnati's got one. Shout out to Cincy, Fort Collins.
Yeah.
So yeah,
this is
it's
sick.
fun. We just did one last month that was like 4 different locations in 2 days.
That's sick.
And it was a lot to put together, but it was really, really cool. It all worked out really well. And over the 4 shows, we had like 250 people come out, and we had some people from LA, some comics from LA pop in, and some locals too. So
that's sick.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's probably one of the, honestly, it's a very unique way to experience comedy. Just a place where like if you think of a business or something like that you would never see a comedy show.
Yeah.
And then we turn it into a comedy show.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing with comedy too. It's like so easy to just pop up a show. I mean, you really just need people.
Yeah.
Is the most important thing.
Like Dave Chappelle bringing a speaker to the fucking Central Park or whatever.
Right. You just need a speaker.
Yeah.
And the lighting is, key. But, I've figured out it's been interesting doing it. Because you realize the small, important things, right? Like the lighting or where the stage is or how condensed the seats are.
Yeah.
What the vantage point of all the onlookers is and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is sick. I've never really thought about all the ins and outs of like putting on a comedy show.
It's a lot. I mean, I've produced quite a few now. I was involved in some more intense production levels. Like we did a show called literally the worst show ever. That ran for like 4 seasons. That was insane because that was like. There was probably a 3.5 year period of my life where every single Saturday at noon, I was in a meeting for that show for, 3 or 4 years straight. Something like that. So, like, that's kind of the commitment. That was the production behind that, which is nuts. We had to write the show. It was like if you would think about Saturday Night Live, but if every sketch had a through line, and there was stand-ups between each sketch. So it was kind of like that. It was a 3-part act, or 3-act play, I should say.
Yeah.
Weaved in with stand-up in between, and then that was wild. And the production behind that was quite extensive. But that was also at Crescent Ballroom, and it started at Valley Bar. So, like, the setup of the room was already set up, but, like, the production behind that was nutty. And then you take that type of production level. That's where I started doing. I always did my own, like, comedy shows and stuff like that. But then going to that extreme with production, then you learn, like, everything. Then you really just think about shows in a different way. You consider how the audience experiences things, how you should present things, how you should gain energy or like enhance the interaction of the comedy and stuff like that. Like, just little fun things on the front end of the show. Like the host, Anwar Newton, was usually he was always the one that started the show.
Mm.
So sometimes he would do stupid things, like we'd tape things under people's seats in the audience, and then somebody would have to go under it and see if they won. And it was a fucking bagel with cream cheese or something stupid.
Yeah.
Or one time it was something crazy. What the fuck did I put under people's seats before? I've taped some wild shit under people's seats.
Really?
Like a Egg McMuffin or something like that. Like
that's pretty great.
Yeah, that'd be an amazing thing to get, right? But
fucking handwritten coupon for a back rub and
yeah,
shit.
100%. Yeah, a promise of a future JO.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, the production of shows, it simplifies though when you go to the more complex, and now you do that. Like I do This Week Sucks Tonight, right?
Right.
So the production of that, we go to different venues with it now, and so to be able
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, so we're going to
the Comedy Store.
The
is
Comedy
like
Store, yeah.
Fucking comedy mecca on the West Coast. So
I mean, it's the mecca, I think, in the world.
Yeah, I gotta ask you all the naive questions of like how that came about and all that shit. So, how did you guys start? I mean, I don't know if you've been asked this question a million fucking times.
Oh, no.
How did you like start that show, and how did you? I mean, just going off of like you've had multiple shows at different venues and shit. How do you go about that? Like, how did you get your show into these fucking venues? How did you get This Week Sucks Tonight into stand up live every week and shit?
Yeah, so I mean the show so it all starts like literally the worst show ever was a relationship we had with Crescent Ballroom and Valley Bar, which is the same owners, right? And then Van Buren, so it's all under the same ownership, so all those things are aligned, and those are the best live music venues in Phoenix / like the fucking country. They're like some of the best live music venues in the country as far as how often their shows are sold out and the type of talent they get and shit like that. Like, so if you're ever in Phoenix or you're listening to this outside of Phoenix, Crescent Ballroom, Valley Bar, Van Buren, those are where you need to see your favorite band. If they're there, go fucking see them there.
Yeah, I've been there several times.
Yeah, 100%. So we had that relationship through literally the worst show ever, which was kind of the brainchild of Anwar Newton and then Dan Thompson, and I was a writer in that and stuff like that. So the guys that ran that came up to Anwar one time when I was sitting with them, and we were just at Crescent Ballroom late night, and they said, well, we'd like to have a late night show here. They're thinking Thursdays. We want to keep people there. It was like really an easy business proposition on there, and they were like, we want to have a show that keeps people in the in Crescent Ballroom, because when the show ends, they just leave.
Right.
So he wanted to keep foot traffic there, have something to offer them in the front room. He was thinking of a show, late night show, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, like, fast forward like 5 days later, like the calendar came up for Crescent Ballroom, and they'd already had us on the it was on the calendar. And so at that point, Anwar reached out to me and was like, dude, they put that, remember that conversation we were kind of half-ass having? Like, they put that on the thing. So that show kind of just started from that, which is nuts. And it's evolved over the years into a very sharp written show about, we cover the front end of the show is covering news and politics and current events and pop culture and shit like that in a very kind of fucking callous way. Like, we don't give a shit.
Oh, I love it. It's the exact type of humor that I have. So.
Yeah. How would you describe it? I'm always curious.
How I would describe it, like This Week Sucks Tonight. It is like an R-rated version of like Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Yeah.
It's
or Weekend Update or something.
Right. It's more like Weekend Update, but like it's shit that people actually think and would say rather than through the lens of NBC.
Yeah. Right.
Cable version of it. And that's like the type of humor I have, like pointing out like how fucked up situations are, or like the contradiction of things. Like this happened today, but did you forget about this stupid shit? Like, you fucking retards.
Yeah, like we like calling people out on how dumb people are, or it's not even how dumb people are, it's just how dumb all of this is.
Yeah,
how dumb all this shit is.
At your last show that you guys just did, the decade wrap up, I was sitting like right in the front over by you on the left, and every time you made a joke about 9/11, or like you were like shout out to the Midwest for fighting all of our wars or whatever. I was just dying, dude. I was like, oh my fucking God, it's so true.
You weren't dying as much as those kids from the Midwest were.
There you go. But it's so fucking funny, dude. Like, that's the type of shit I love. And you guys did the whole decade wrap up, which I was like, this is so fucking great, dude.
Well, because I was thinking about it, I was like, we've never had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
We've only done the show since 2017. And so we started the show right when Trump got inaugurated. It was like the week of.
Okay.
So we've only done the show in the lens of the Trump administration, which has been fun. And some people are like, well, that's probably easy. It's like, it's actually kind of harder because, like, first of all, every joke is already made. The joke's already been made 10 times out of 10. So we're only on a weekly basis. And then also, like, it's just not that fun to really make fun of them that much. It's not that It's sometimes people do it to get on their soapbox and shit like that and make a point. So the angle that we've been able to take, and I've been able to really hone in on, is the fact that Anwar is a black male from the inner city of Baltimore, and I kind of took that and I ran with it, and I created this character that's kind of, you could call it like Colbert-esque, right? In the Colbert Report type years, where like I'm pretty much the white Republican male that does not have emotions or shows empathy for others or anything like that. And it's really, but it's really based on, but the humor that can be brought up with that is so boundless. And I think that the show doesn't ever like take, and that we've been complimented on this before from really good comedians that have watched the show. They always say this: you're not taking the low hanging fruit,
right?
And there is low hanging fruit everywhere in this current time, in any era of comedy. But it's very cerebral. You need to understand the levels of which we're fucking with you,
right?
And you can't.
You're making a current event joke, but you're also bringing in like pop culture into it, and it's like if you don't understand either of those references, and this isn't for you.
But also we're bringing up like there's a degree of it where we're talking about class warfare and
absolutely,
blatant and subtle racism.
Yep,
we're definitely doing that, but we're not doing it in this like, oh, the black dude loves has a bigger like, we're not making these like stupid lame jokes about black people. We're trying to make like deeper jokes about how white people actually do really think about black people, and it's very dismissive.
You gave Anwar that fucking yams.
I gave him sweet candied yams and brandy.
Was so fucking funny, dude.
Because that's what black people like. And he drank all the brandy.
You're like, I knew this was like the perfect gift for you. So.
And he didn't give me anything because that's very classic.
So fucking funny, dude.
So that type of shit is always on our brand. So that was a long-winded way of saying kind of what the show is, but so the show was so good. I've loved the show, and I've always really thought that very highly of the show, even from probably before it started. And so I've always been very staunch on like getting it. I was like, this is a TV show, and so I started filming it like a TV show. I got people around us that it was a Mevo at first, which kind of didn't do the job well, and then we got like 3 different cameras set up, and got a thing called what is it called? Something studio. I got this. It's pretty much a platform that you can live stream and switch between each camera angle and stuff like that.
Oh,
and kind of produce it almost like a TV show.
Yeah.
So
I could do that on here if I had more people.
Right, and so that's the other thing. So I got more people.
Yeah.
We had more people, and a buddy of ours, Dustin, and then we've got Compton and a couple people that help us with camera stuff, and still need more people, but you can't rely on that many. And so we started filming it like a television show and putting it on YouTube and Facebook. It really didn't pop off from that. And then I was kind of just like, well, we got to put this elsewhere. And so there was a festival, Big Pine in Flagstaff.
Okay.
And Hillary Hudson reached out and asked us if we wanted to be on that. And we took that. And from that, we put it in front of the festival. And then there was 2 people there that ran other festivals. And those 2 people actually ended up being on the show, which is kind of random. I don't know if we set that up or we asked for them or whatever. I thought we knew them beforehand. It was Richard Douglas Jones and Shadi Diaz. And they both were on the show. And they both run separate festivals, unbeknownst to us. And they were like, damn, we got to get you on our festivals.
That's sick.
So it's kind of snowball, right? So then all of a sudden you're in Flagstaff, and then you get invited to Memphis and North Carolina. And so we did that. And then it really was well received everywhere. And so I actively started kind of putting it in front of more people. One of my biggest goals last year was getting High Plains is one of my favorite. Denver is one of the best comedy scenes in the world.
Yeah.
And High Plains is one of the best comedy festivals, ran by Adam Caton Holland and a couple other people. But I knew Adam. And I worked that angle, and he ended up accepting us into the High Plains Festival end of last year. And then it was the beginning of last year. I worked with Pauly Shore one time, and this guy that I had known from All Things Comedy Festival. So that was the other thing that happened in years to 2018. The All Things Comedy Festival is a thing ran by Bill Burr and Al Madrigal.
Yep.
And they did a podcast festival here in Phoenix, and we were invited as the only local show to be even featured on that.
That's sick.
Yeah, so it was like something with like Ari Shaffir and Bill Burr was there, and
that's so fucking cool.
Bert Kreischer, Brody Stevens, stuff like that.
R.I.P.
Yeah, Brody was good. He was a good man, and he was on the show. He was actually on our show that we did at the All Things Comedy.
Dude, that's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, he's a good buddy of mine, and he.
Yeah, see, like, I was a huge comedy fan, like, before I even got into comedy. So, like,
really?
When Brody passed away, and, like, yeah, like, I've listened to Joe Rogan for fucking 8 years. Like, I remember when Joey Diaz and, like, Burt were on it, and, like, no one fucking knew who they were.
Right.
And, like, yeah, like, I was always into comedy. So, like, now getting into comedy and doing it, like, it just feels so natural for me, like, in that level of, like... Fucking people are like, yeah, if you listen to this comedian, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
I fucking love
it. For
it.
8 years.
Yeah.
Like, sorry to interrupt you.
No, first time I ever saw Brody was like eye-opening for me. It was like something I'd never seen. I never understood comedy could do that, or comedy could just be that way. He was just he was one of my favorite comics to watch. I remember the first time I ever saw him was at Stand Up Scottsdale, like 2013 or something like that, 2014. I remember I was like, you need any weed? I'll get you some. He's like a great dude. He was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I got him at 8 that weekend, and we kind of like linked up that weekend. And then
wasn't that the best thing when weed wasn't that available back then?
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, bro, I can get you some weed. And people were like, fuck yeah, instant friendship.
I know. So we did that. That was a quick link. I took him actually.
Did you want to hit this, by the way?
Yeah, I'll hit that.
It's actually 4-to-1 CBD. So it's mostly CBD.
Okay.
I've had my med card. I used to work at a dispensary in Flagstaff, actually.
Oh, yeah?
When I was in college, yeah.
Brody was great, though. He was on the All Things Comedy episode. And from that, we got in front of...
How long ago was that? That was 2017? 2018?
October of 2018.
That's dope.
So, and it went really well. And it was at Stand Up Live.
Okay.
So.
That was the in there.
And they already knew us because they loved us. I mean, like one of our biggest supporters has been Casey Courier,
he runs
one of the greatest
Tempe Improv,
greatest managers in comedy. Yeah.
Copper Blues.
Yeah. One of the better comedy club managers in the biz. And so he was always in our corner. And the guys over at Stand Up Live really enjoyed our show. And they always wanted us to move over there because they wanted to have something on a weekly basis. And so from the All Things Comedy thing, we kind of took that momentum. And I took that into 2019 and where I opened for Pauly Shore, and the guy that featured for him worked at the Comedy Store, and I said, hey, man, I'd love to get into the Comedy Store with this show. And he had seen the show, and he was like, dude, yeah, you guys should do that. Why don't you email this person, CC
when was
me.
That?
This was last January.
Who was opening for him? Was it Frank?
Me and, no, Brenton Biddlecombe.
Oh, I don't know him.
You know Frank, who? Castillo?
Yeah.
I've worked with him a bunch too, though, but no.
Yeah, I know Frank because I met him when he opened here for Andrew Santino.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, we've just been kind of like Instagram buddies since then.
He's the man.
Yeah, I like Frank a lot.
He's got one of the best This Week Sucks moments ever. He was on stage when we kicked out Franz Ferdinand.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
They said, take me out, and we said, okay.
Yeah, Frank, like, encouraged me, like, hardcore when I met him. He's like, yeah, fucking go do it, dude. Get on stage. Because I was like, oh, I'm thinking about, like, trying comedy, which is probably a douchey thing to say when you meet a comedian that you just saw.
Well, that's what all comedians will say. They'll say, just go do it.
Yeah.
You know, well, there's literally nothing else to say.
But he was super nice about it, and I talked to him for probably, like,
nice.
15 minutes, and, he was just such a fucking cool guy.
He's one of the best. One of the great hangs. Frank Castillo, but no, Brenton Biddlecombe, who actually just recently moved on from the Comedy Store, but he vouched for the show, got us at the Comedy Store, and then there was a conversation with probably around the same time actually with the owners of Stand Up Live and CB Live and stuff like that, and they wanted the show at Stand Up Live, and they could give us more money and a little bit better visibility with the show, and so I kind of heard that, and I said, yeah, let's do that. And so I kind of ran with that and got a good deal money-wise and better exposure, and we kind of maxed that out over this past year. And so that's how we got to Stand Up Live. And then getting into the Comedy Store, my goal was to get more of a regular thing going at the Comedy Store, and so I got us there last year. And it's done well every time as far as audience reaction and audience people showing up. You've
been in, were you in the belly room?
In the belly room, okay. Yeah. So all you need in the belly room is I think it's like 80?
50 people?
80 people? 50's packed, yeah.
Okay.
But I think you could pack like 80 in there. And so, and we pack that out every time. And it's very well received, and the comics like it, and the door guys usually like it too. We know all the door guys; they've all been on our shows, typically when they're in Phoenix bullshitting on other stuff.
Yeah.
So, kind of just ride those waves. That's one skill set that I definitely have is understanding like how to utilize all these different avenues to be able to maximize either visibility or like, just kind of pushing it to the next level. I don't like standing still with nothing. So. At the end of the day, Phoenix was definitely the place where it started, but I hope it's not the place where it dies also. Right. So like it should be in LA. The show should exist on a larger scale, and I was also moving to LA anyway, so it like timed out perfectly. We're moving to LA, and
yeah, how long were you planning on moving? Or has that been your goal since you started comedy like most people, or
yeah, it was something that I definitely understood had to probably happen eventually. Yeah. But I pushed it, but it was probably in the middle of the year I had to get another lease, and I just got a 6-month lease, and I realized I was like, I'm probably just going to get this, and then I'll plan accordingly. So that kind of timed out perfectly, and then also to move there and have the show being at the Comedy Store on a monthly basis is like, it just makes sense.
Can I ask you, like, what's that like? Like, did you sign, like, a deal with them for, like, 6 months of shows, like 6 shows or 3 shows, or, like, you're there for a full year?
Yeah, so it's the first 3 dates of the first 3 months of the year, And at the end of the day, it's a prove it type thing. But
so you got 3 shows to prove it.
But we proved it all last year, so I'm not too worried about it. And I know that we have already been able to prove it on worse time slots. So they give us a better time slot. So we were at 10:30 on a Sunday in the past, and we would pack that shit out. And now we're at 8. If I had been
on
at 8
on a Sunday,
yeah, which is 10:30 on a Sunday is just tough.
Yeah,
that was like a hey, see what you want to do if you like this. It was like kind of a throwaway date.
And that's why I couldn't really ever go to your show because it's 10:30 on a Thursday. Right. And I'm like, I got meetings at 8 a.m., bro. Yeah. Like, I'm like, I can't fucking. Your last show I was there, I was out to like, I don't know, 12. And I was like, the next day, I was like, fuck. Like, I was like.
Yeah. It was a fun show for industry people in the restaurant industry. Would come after their shifts and stuff.
But
like
8 sounds dope.
8 is good. And we moved it at 8. Here in Phoenix, it wasn't as well received, which is weird, but it also just run its course in Phoenix too. It's like, what else are you gonna do? My mentality was I'm in all the right actions in the wrong market, and just didn't make sense to just be here anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah, but it is a damn good place to start. Like I started here, and I've accomplished some things. I've gotten on local television.
Yeah,
big time. I got to do a couple roasts. Like I did a roast for Shane Doan. You
were on the Shane Doan roast. That's pretty fucking cool.
I crushed that roast.
Yeah,
me and Earl Skakel really brought it on that one.
I remember when that was happening. I was like, that sounds fucking cool.
I was the only local.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and
did you start doing comedy in Phoenix? I'm sorry, did you already say that?
Yeah. I started in 2012 here at Stand Up Scottsdale.
Yeah, see, I was still in fucking college then, 2012.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, were you at NAU?
Yeah.
So
I graduated 2013.
Okay. They didn't have any they get comedy up there, but it's not like crazy. I know JC
they
Anderson
have
up there.
one mic a month or one mic a week right now, but I never heard anything. But honestly, that's not what I was into. And in school, I was hardcore writing movies and filming shit and editing. I mean, that was all I did. I'd sit in the editing room on campus till 2 a.m. and shit.
Really?
Editing short films and yeah, I mean, that's when I graduated college, I wanted to move to LA so bad, but financially it wasn't realistic. You know, I was I have a dog. I fucking have bills to pay. I don't fucking know what to do in LA.
It's not gonna be cheap.
And then I've never really let go of that. I've always been I want to move to LA. I want to move to LA. But for me, it's always been I want to fucking work in the film industry. I want to work in the film industry. But now, as I've gotten older, I'm I can make my own fucking films. I can make my own short films and do my own shit. And then comedy for me was just it was kind of I was I've always been a comedian. That's just always been my personality. Shit talking, fucking posting roast shit on Facebook. My whole Facebook is just satirical bullshit that I'm look how fucking stupid this is in the news. You know,
look how dumb these people are.
Right. I love posting contradictions and pointing shit out and fucking making stupid jokes. I've always been that person.
Big on the 9/11 jokes.
Oh yeah, I love 9/11 jokes.
Yeah, those are great.
It's an inside job, bro.
I did those in New York. It was pretty fun.
Did you?
They went over really well.
Yeah, I'm interested to
Somebody came up to me afterwards. They were like, I've seen a lot of people try to do 9/11 jokes in New York.
Shut up.
That was the first time I saw people laugh.
That's awesome.
And I was like, thanks, man. Maybe I shouldn't be that prideful.
Maybe it took long enough, you know?
Yeah. Maybe they did forget. But, it's I mean, if you get into it though, you got to do it at the right time. It seems like this is probably the right time for you. A little different headspace than when you were in your college years.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and I have shit to say now. It's I have a different perspective on everything, life in general.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly,
just make sure they're structured jokes.
That's my
make sure there's punchlines.
Yeah, I feel I studied comedy well enough to know how to structure a solid joke.
It's tough,
but
people don't know. 6
months into it, I'm my first fucking 5 minutes was garbage, and I'm sure the 5 minutes I'm doing now, I will feel the same way in 3 months, and go from there. You know what I mean?
You consume a lot of you watch a lot of stand up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I watch most of the stand-up specials that come out on Netflix. Like, watch Burr. I mean, just this year, I fucking probably watched 30 stand-up specials, you know?
Really?
I just watched all the Degenerates.
Oh, they came another one?
Mm-hmm. With
Who's on it?
Nikki Glaser.
I love Nikki.
Fucking, I just watched it earlier. Oh, my God.
Nobody memorable.
Nikki Glaser. No, they are.
You only remember the cute blonde?
I smoke too much weed. I'm a big fan of Nikki Glaser. I think she's fucking hilarious.
I got to open for her last year. One of the cooler people I've worked with.
Really?
Yeah.
Degenerates season 2. My favorite one is Jim Norton.
Oh, Jim Norton.
Miss Pat. Donnell Rawlings.
Oh, Robert Kelly.
And
Donnell Rawlings.
I had never heard this lady before, but I guess she's opening. She's opening for like Burt right now.
I've heard she's great.
Palucci.
I heard her name recently. Because of that, I heard she's great.
Yeah.
That's some classic big hitters, though.
They just released this literally a week ago.
They all just do 30?
They're actually all 20.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jim Norton.
I love Jim Norton. He's so fucking perverted and weird, dude.
Donnell Rawlings is a killer.
Yeah. And I think I think that's like what I try to focus on my first 6 months is like finding out like what am I gonna fucking say on stage that's different than people? Like what's my fucking voice like? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I've come to find there's so many different fucking people. There's so many different styles of comedy. Like,
but there's a lot of people that are saying the same shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You just got to figure out your own lane and look within and do your own thing. Like
For
that's
sure.
what that's my first year and a half, maybe 2 years, was concentrated on getting up on stage as much as I could to be comfortable in my own skin.
Right.
So that's all it was. So that's why I got up on stage so often my first year. Is just whenever I could, boom, 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 boom. Just do it.
Yeah.
Because the quicker I could get to that point where I'm comfortable on stage, the quicker I could try to figure out what I want to do up there.
Yeah.
But that's a big thing. You're
Being
just always so
on stage.
uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, it's an uncomfortable thing inherently.
Yeah.
You're on stage in front of people that paid to see comedy. There's a microphone attached to an amp that has your voice in it. There's a light that's just shining on you, and everybody else is in the dark and told to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Go be funny.
Yeah.
It's like a crazy thing. So it's like inherently very uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
So once you can get comfortable in that discomfort, then you can really figure stuff out.
Yeah. Mentally, like I told myself, like my first year will just be getting comfortable on stage and fucking making sure no matter where I go, whatever fucking venue it is, I feel comfortable grabbing the mic and fucking being up there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's a lot of
you'll
just...
be in some shit shows.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely already bombed several times where I'm just like, yeah, that was fucking terrible. You know? And I feel like all those times I'm like, this just has to happen. Like, it just has to, like, I have to fucking feel what it's like to have a silence for 5 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah. Control the silence.
And I totally get why people give up. Like, I get it. Like, it's like...
More people should give up.
People...
I always say that.
Like, I totally get why it's like, oh, yeah, it's fucking terrible. Like, it's like, yeah, but it's not going to also, like, be awesome all the time.
I don't get how more people don't give up.
Yeah. That's fair.
Where you're just watching them and you're like, this is what you want to do 5 nights a week? This doesn't seem very fun. I
feel like I'm glad you said that because a lot of people I talk to don't want to say anything negative at all about other people. And I will freely say I have watched some people that I'm like, I don't know why they want to do comedy.
Yeah.
Or I don't know why they think. Like I've seen people do the same jokes 8 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, why do you keep saying that?
And it never works though.
Yeah, I'm like, why do you keep saying that? Like what in your head? Like, and I'm like, I get it. If that's like you're just trying to work it out, whatever, like it takes time. But I'm like, there's nothing in there that's even a joke.
It hasn't elicited a positive reaction once. Yeah.
Right.
If anything, people are pretty angry.
Right.
Yeah. People are. That's the other thing, too. You watch people and they're not self-aware enough to understand what's going on when they say or do certain things. Because that's the biggest skill set in comedy is being self-aware. Right. Understanding what you're doing in the moment is affecting people in what way or how. Yeah. And then because once if you understand that, then you can understand kind of the flow of jokes and or you can understand when certain things don't work, why they didn't work, what you were doing. But self-awareness is like key. And a lot of those people that just keep bombing, they lack self-awareness so much that they don't understand how bad this experience is. Not only for them, it should be way worse for them.
Yeah.
But they're so naive or like blinded by some level of stupidity that operates within them that they don't understand how bad it is, not only for them, but for everybody around them.
For sure.
And so, and then there's too many people when you get off stage that are like, man, that was so brave what you did. Or like, that was really cool, man. Super fun or whatever. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
And you don't have to say that was horrible, but don't lie and say it was great.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. People are always like, good set. You don't have to say good set. If I never told you good set, I didn't think it was a good set.
Yeah.
If I told you good set, you had a good set, in my opinion.
Right. But a lot of people just say it to every single person who gets off stage.
People are weak.
Right. Yeah, and it's, I mean, people have a real hard time with criticism and honesty. And I think that's like...
But they demand it from their politicians.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Part of it, I think, is just a pure age thing in that sense of like... I mean, yeah, and I know you got to go in like 20 minutes, right?
You're good. Yeah, we're fine.
Cool. I think a lot of it's just like an age thing in that regard. Like, I mean, I've had so many different experiences, like in my professional world, like of jobs, of like getting fired from a job, getting in trouble doing shit at jobs,
right?
Like having like serious meetings where other people get fired,
right?
Like shit like that, where it's like I feel like a lot of people, especially like the younger comics I've met, have never been in like situations that are like serious situations like in life. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like just where like your performance matters to other people.
Right.
Where like your job performance affects how the company looks.
Right.
Or like, you know, shit like that.
Yeah.
Just
some
like
high stake shit.
Right. Like I don't think a lot of people
they've all got a resume with like 14 different jobs and none of them mattered and shit like that.
Right.
And there's a reason they're doing comedy, because they were just laid off and they've got some free time.
Right.
So yeah. No, it's true. I think that's fair. Or some of them have experienced those situations, but didn't have the right perspective to be able to understand the gravity of them. And there's a reason that they'll never experience it again, because people wouldn't put them in that situation.
Yeah. And so, I have met like a handful of people who are clearly
borderline schizophrenic.
Oh Jesus, mentally ill, probably.
Mentally ill, yeah.
But no, I was gonna say, kind of just more infatuated with the word of like being a comedian, rather than wanting to like be funny and do comedy as like something they love doing. Like, I think there's a lot of kids out here doing open mics that are like, I want to be the next fucking Joe Rogan, and like, it's all just kind of like a pipe dream for them. They're not trying to put in the work. They don't really take it seriously. Like I take comedy seriously.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of just me listening to podcasts and listening to comedians be like, fucking respect the art form. Like, fucking don't get up and on stage and make other comedians look like fucking retards, because we're the only
people that have no agenda other than our agenda.
Right.
But which I guess so technically they got an agenda, but like, we're not paid by other people to say certain things. You're listening to these people on, whether it's YouTube or NBC and shit like that. There's somebody telling them these are the opinions they have to have. We're actually out here just fucking talking shit.
Right.
About all of it and adding perspective. And, you got to respect that. And some people don't, some open micers that you see don't deserve that level of platform. Their opinion's so fucking whacked out. I hope they never pop off. But they never will. They never will. A lot of them never will. It's crazy. There's a lot of open micers though. But yeah, it definitely is something that it takes. You have to respect the craft to do it, and also you should respect the craft to appreciate it the right way too.
Yeah,
that's why these 9/11 jokes hit different. These are just such buildings don't fall like that.
Tower 7, bro.
Yeah, Building 7. Look it up. A lot of people don't know that fell that day.
They don't. You're right. I love conspiracy theories and all that shit. So,
what's your favorite?
My favorite conspiracy theory? My favorite one is like that we didn't go to the moon.
That's a good one.
That's like my favorite.
Did you watch Room 237?
No. What is that?
It's a documentary about how people analyze The Shining. Have you you've seen The Shining, right?
Yeah. I'm a big film buff, so.
Okay. So you haven't seen this? So
I've probably
but you've also heard have you heard the perspective that Kubrick used The Shining to tell the world that he did the moon landing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they break down that theory.
Okay.
And then but there's a couple other ones that are a little loosey goosey, but like he changed the Room 237 was not in the book.
Okay.
But the distance from Earth to the moon is 237,000
miles. Yeah. Okay.
And then the tile, see, in the carpet.
Yeah.
Right. So it is shaped like a hexagon, which is the shape of the shuttle, where they would depart from in Houston.
I'm gonna fucking watch this tonight, dude.
And then the kid, what's the kid's name? Not Jack. John.
The little boy.
Yeah, the little boy. Is it Jack? Well, either way, he has a sweater on. Danny. Of course, it's Danny.
Wait, why is it a kid from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
So Danny is wearing a shirt that says the Apollo 11 on it.
He's wearing the Apollo 11 shirt.
He stands up on the... And then there's like a bunch of little things where...
I have heard about a handful of this. Maybe I have watched this before.
It's so, first of all, I would say that the majority of it is kind of stupid.
A lot of blunts and watched documentaries.
It's more of a movie about film theory. Okay. And the routes that people can take in film theory, right? Like, what does this movie mean?
Oh, dude, people go psychotic about that shit.
So it's really a movie about that, but there's also like interesting, like the moon landing one is the only one that even has any level of.
It's pretty great.
Oh, it's a great one.
I don't
know if we did. I don't know if that was the moon landing. I'll tell you what. I think that we've been on the moon. I don't know if that was the one. What I would say is that if it was the first time we were ever on the moon, it was very well rehearsed and produced.
Yeah.
Like
that's fair.
The fact that he said like all those perfect things, like
one small step for
like
man,
that type of shit, and
one
like
giant leap for mankind.
Yeah, it was like there's no editing and shit.
Yeah,
they just literally traveled through space, and like these motherfuckers are just ready for this moment.
But also, it's like
it's insane.
Why do you say that? If we landed on the moon and that was me, I'd be like, guys, this is fucking crazy.
Right.
Like I'd be like, I don't want to go out there first. I don't want to. Dude, you do it. You go out there first. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I think they knew who was going to go out there, though.
Like, a real conversation, though, would be like, why are you making a weird speech? Like, you're a politician.
You'd be the worst astronaut.
Oh, I'd be terrible.
But that shit's wild. Also, windy day on the moon. Flag was really going.
Oh, yeah. Some of the shit. I mean, Joe Rogan's talked about it on his podcast so many times. Like, the way the dude falls over and stands back up, and like it's like all this weird stuff.
It's all very bizarre.
And they like remade it with wires, and they're like, "Look, this is exactly how you would do this." And like,
so they say low gravity. When Jack went into room 237 is when he lost his. When he saw the woman turn into the old lady.
Yeah.
In The Shining, and then when he left, he had lost his mind, and that is the moment that he was told what he had to do for the government. Stanley Kubrick, and then he left, and he had not only lost his mind, but lost his credibility with his peers and stuff like that. It was wild. It's an interesting perspective on The Shining.
I love how people piece all this shit together over like dissecting a movie that's 30 years old.
It's nuts. It is nuts. But
the internet has given so many outlets to how much free time people have. It's amazing.
It's wild. I crush movies, so I was like...
what's your favorite conspiracy theory?
Oh, I always love... the JFK stuff is interesting. The 9/11 stuff to me is always just like... Sometimes I think it's weird that people sometimes lump it in like conspiracies and stuff like that. It's like all I say about... like I combine JFK and 9/11 a lot, because one thing I'll say about both those things is we as a public... So if you tallied a poll of all Americans right now and asked them if they think that we were told the complete truth with how our president was shot in 1963 in Dallas, the majority of people would say no. I would say it's being an alarming amount. It might be like 90%, 80, 50, 85, 90%.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, yeah, I think we were lied to. That's insane to me. We were lied to about the murder of our president.
Yeah.
And knowing that there's more evidence that we don't know as a public, but also understanding that maybe we don't need that evidence. There's things that we shouldn't know. I get that.
Yeah.
But just knowing that we know that wasn't how it went down.
Yeah.
And then I would say that 50 years removed from 9/11, right, in 2040 or whatever.
Yeah.
We could do that same poll, and people would be like, they'd be like, yeah, we know that we were lied to about certain things. Yep. Like, the Building 7 thing to me is always just like, that thing just collapsed.
The Building 7 thing is the most...
That's all I ever tell people. Is like,
it's
just
the most apparent. Like, dude, it wasn't 2 buildings that fell down. It was 3.
1. And, and it free fell.
And the third one just fell and no one cares. Everyone's like, that's crazy.
it's like, no, it's insane.
It's literally, it never happens.
And they say it was from internal fires. Never in the history of buildings.
It's never happened.
Has anything collapsed?
It would be like if
that.
Dude, houses don't even fall down like that.
Right.
Meth labs explode and the walls of houses stay standing.
And then, like, there's so many different things. There's just evidence that you have to look at. And, that's all I say. Like, I don't know. I'm not sitting here and saying, like, George Bush did 9/11. I don't think I'm not naive enough to think that it's just that black and white. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's not that. All I'm saying is we were lied to.
Oh,
that's
for
all
sure.
I'm saying is we've been blatantly lied to.
Oh,
what they tell us happened didn't happen. And it's just interesting to me. But then you get all heated and you're just talking about this shit and you're like, what can we do? Well, I can talk about it in public.
Yeah.
And, like, just probe people.
Yeah.
That's all I like doing.
Oh, yeah.
I like just throwing it in people's faces. And, like, really, like, the last show we did, I did all the 9/11. I did, like, 4 or 5 minutes.
Jokes, yeah.
I did, like, 4 or 5 minutes on it. But
that's
it's really just me ranting about. That's literally just the things that I think sometimes.
That's why I like bringing up, like, the Epstein didn't kill himself shit. And, like, Ricky Gervais just said it.
I like
the Golden
that.
Globes.
Oh, it was great.
It's just so savage. And it's like, yeah. It's like, are we going to stop talking about this? Like, dude didn't kill himself. Like, it's like...
I know.
This guy was running a billionaire pedophile sex island.
Which is nutty.
And no one cares.
And like, then he's like, no
one cares.
He's probably was a spy.
You
see all that stuff?
Weird shit. Like, he's connected to the government and all this weird stuff.
Israeli government.
Yeah.
And then I think they said maybe potentially the British government both had him working... both those angles, and I watched the Americans enough to know, like, that's probably
and he's like tied in with like the Prince Harry or Prince George or
Prince
Andrew.
The fuck. So he took a picture of Prince Andrew with a 16 or 17-year-old. That's the thing. So the thing that does make sense is there's all these weird pictures just with men and these younger women.
Yeah.
And that makes sense that they would have those photos to blackmail
people.
Yeah, and to make them do
and
whatever they want to do.
It's almost like cultish. It's like if you want into the club, we gotta take some pictures of you banging an underage girl.
Well, it's like Skull and Bones and stuff like that. You hear those guys all did things that they know. Like, a lot of them did some homosexual activities with some people in their what is it called? When the initiation and shit like that.
Yeah.
Or even throughout it, that they probably wouldn't want the whole world to know about.
Yeah.
But they're in the Skull and Bones for life. And nobody's going to talk about it unless you fuck around and say some shit. So it's like, that's a blackmail, too.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wish I was in Skull and Bones, though.
It's weird cult shit.
Should have done Yale. But yeah.
Should have done Yale.
It's some wild shit. I just like thinking critically about things. I think sometimes it's like just questioning... we know that we've been lied to. Why wouldn't they lie about this thing and that thing? Yeah. Just question some stuff.
No, honestly, though, I think critical thinking is like a dying art form in our society. So
100%.
Yeah.
They don't want a country filled with people capable of critical thought.
Oh no! I mean, that's why our education system's terrible.
It's horrible.
It's like in the book, like 1984 and shit. It's like, if you don't want the population to become smarter than the government, you keep them dumber than the government.
You control the education.
Yeah, and you don't give them all the information they need to, like, put these pieces together, and, like, you treat them like morons, and it's that's how the world works.
Control the information, control the education. That's what our government's doing right now.
Yeah.
But we live in a democracy.
And that's why our society's kind of like in this weird flux right now, because the internet's kind of changing all of that. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be the president did a radio broadcast on, and I studied radio. I got my degree in electronic media.
Shout out to FDR.
So I studied radio. I studied, like, you know, the Titanic sinking changed radio forever.
Yeah.
Like shit like that.
Really?
Yeah, because it changed the way we have radio operations. It changed the way signals are generated. It changed the way timing is structured. Like, the Titanic wouldn't have sank if the radio operator didn't leave 5 minutes prior to them releasing their SOS call.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no one there to get their call. If there would have been boats there in a couple hours, and it would have saved everyone.
Oh, wow.
But radio failed, and that failed the Titanic that day. And that can never happen again. They changed all the laws.
People just blame that iceberg.
Right. And it's really because after 8 p.m. or something, no one was required to be on the radio, because at night it was just there's a blackout period.
Yeah.
And now there aren't any blackout periods.
It's crazy. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Say that to Tempe. There's some blackout periods.
Right.
But
yeah, it's like crazy shit like that. Just like, I don't even remember what the fuck we were talking about now. Conspiracies.
But yeah, I love all that shit. I like diving deep into ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
I was saying
YouTube
how it's
videos.
changed now. The president used to do one radio broadcast.
Oh yeah, communication,
like a week
with
or
the
a
internet,
month,
yeah.
And that was the only time you heard from the president. If you didn't, you would have to read the newspaper that it was printed word for word.
We don't hear from our current president a lot.
Yeah, we do. Fucking tweets 100 times a day.
I like to think he's taking a shit while he's.
Did you see his tweet that was like, "My Twitter is now an official message to Congress to let them know about these war acts."
100%. He's not wrong.
He straight up said, he's like, we can pull it up. It was like, Congress should take this as official word.
He's amazing. One of the funniest people alive. Donald Trump.
My tweets count as official notification to Congress.
Oh, because he's saying
these media postal service notification to the Congress that should strike Iran. That if Iran strike any U.S. person, the United States will quickly and fully strike back, and perhaps in a disproportionate manner. Did you just read?
He did that today?
That was 2 days ago. Did you read? Do you follow the news and shit?
Yeah.
Iraq just bombed our military base, and
I saw that.
Iran
bombed
bombed in Iraq.
Tomorrow should be lit.
So, yeah, your show is gonna have a lot of material by the time.
We'll pretty much be covering a war.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it is wild stuff. I was actually shocked it took him this long to get into a war, but this makes sense.
It's pretty wild, man.
It's not as wild. I mean, when you really think about it, I thought he would have started a war right away.
Yeah, I mean,
but you don't want to be a wartime president. But now he's starting a war to become a wartime president.
My biggest issue with it is people are like, I can't believe this is happening. And I'm like, Obama did the same shit.
I know.
Like, I'm like,
he
what do you
killed
mean?
So many people.
Every president we've had does this exact same shit.
People are so dumb. They don't understand that the people that they root for, it's like all fucked up in the lens. Obama was a dirty dog. And I'll tell you who loves war and who would have gotten us stayed in war the whole time was Hillary. Hillary loves war.
Yeah, I just saw a meme earlier that was like, this is supposed to be my war, and it's Hillary crying.
Yeah, 100%. It's wild. Like, people don't take a step back and think about things critically like that.
Right.
Like, maybe the thing that I voted for wasn't that much different than the thing that's currently in office. This one's just more vocal, and he doesn't give a fuck what you think.
Yeah, and the other
ones kind of cared what you think. This dude doesn't give a fuck.
I like that Trump doesn't care what people think, and I like that he talks shit to other world leaders. Like, my biggest issue in the Obama presidency was that Iran deal, and I follow politics like semi-closely, more than most people.
Yeah.
And like that Iran deal we had with them of like, you don't make nuclear weapons and we give you $2 billion. It was like the most bullshit fucking deal ever. It's just like, why would we? Like, they signed a piece of paper and we literally just gave them cash.
Right.
And it's like that they're people who we've called terrorists for decades. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know that was a big talking point. I never dove too deep into that, but I know that there's a level of shit that Obama did that wasn't.
It's just all so sketchy.
He was a cool motherfucker, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing that people forget.
Obama was dope. Really he's like out playing basketball with people.
He's cool. I'm cool with Obama.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Dude, I don't want to be president.
I'd smoke weed with Obama anytime.
Any day.
Yeah.
Bush was the homie.
Yeah.
I kick with George
That
Bush.
scene in Harold and Kumar when they like smoke weed with George Bush.
Yeah.
It's the funniest fucking shit, dude.
Classic film.
It's so fucking funny.
But, yeah, we just gotta, I mean, this dude's just a gangster up there. Trump.
He is, man. I definitely didn't vote for him. But I might on the second time around.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know. The funny thing is the Democrats have not provided a candidate that is worth a damn.
No. And that's really my biggest issue. I didn't want to vote for him or Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary was not a good candidate. One of the worst candidates. You know how bad of a candidate she was? She lost to him.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh, she was a great candidate. I think you're wrong. I think you're entirely wrong. She was robotic. She was like the Manchurian candidate.
She was terrible.
She was like very just like stone.
Well, then this time around, like, people are like, well, it's going to be Joe Biden or Bernie. And I'm like, does everyone forget 4 years ago when the DNC like came out and it was a huge investigation that they fucked over Bernie?
I know.
And now Bernie's like, I want to run again. And it's like, dude, the people who literally shot you in the kneecaps are like, oh, you can do it again.
It's wild.
Like, I'm like, this is retarded, guys. Like, this is like, we're having this weird popularity contest for no reason. Like, it's like this whole, it doesn't matter. None of it fucking matters.
It's all too, the thing is that they'll always have the advantage over us is it's all too complex to really understand fully. Yeah. So you just gotta like, I don't know. You got to take it like, because they just keep throwing new shit at you every day. Every day. It's like, you're pissed about that the other day. Well, what about this today? And then you don't even remember about the other thing. So it's like, we're already moved on from Epstein, which is crazy because like nobody really cared.
No one cared.
We cared enough to make memes
about it.
No
one cares because of the people who run the media and the government. There's a lot of pedophiles in there.
Right.
I mean, the whole thing.
We move on from things quickly.
All the Epstein shit said to me is there are more pedophiles on this planet than I thought there was. Like, I thought a pedophile was like a unicorn. Yeah. Like, it was like, oh, yeah, they exist, but, like, when do you see one?
Well, they're out there.
But it's like, no, there's a pedophile in, like, every corporation in the world. Like, that's, like, what Epstein showed us. Like, it's wild.
There's been pedophiles. There's probably less pedophiles now than
Kevin Spacey's one.
I don't know if he's still actively fucking young boy.
But he did at some point.
He definitely fucked around in the 80s. 80s were weird for a lot of people, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Hall & Oates, stuff like that. But
I mean, gay people weren't even accepted until the late 90s, and that was still like... and Ellen lost her
coming
sitcom.
From two guys in Arizona, it's still frowned upon.
It's still very non-kosher.
But, Jesus. I don't know. It's wild. Yeah, the John Buttigieg or Pete Buttigieg. Speaking of gay men, he can't win.
Yeah.
You think you're going to put a gay man against Trump?
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, dude, and like it's only a matter of time until half of these Congress people get Me Too'd and shit. Like it's already happening. Yeah. But it's like there's some weird stuff going on all the time.
It's wild shit.
It's surprising nothing's come out on Trump other than like the whole grab her by the pussy thing, which wasn't even that bad. It's just like a line of dialogue he said.
I would never say that though. That was the craziest thing about that is people are like, oh, it's locker room talk. I've been in a lot of locker rooms.
I've never heard a guy say that shit before.
That is a nutty thing,
and I would by the pussy.
I would not fuck with that dude on a real level if he did say that.
Right.
That's always
and
a weird
real conversation. If
grab her by the pussy.
This is like the first time ever that people don't know this, but I don't really know you. This is the first time I've ever had like a real conversation with you.
Yeah.
And if I was just sitting here like, dude, Mike, you just gotta grab her by the pussy, bro. You probably leave like,
be like
that guy's fucking crazy.
You're nuts, dude. I just met your wife and dog. What the fuck's going on, dude? I'm out of here, dude.
You'd be like, I'm never coming back here.
Yeah, what the hell's going on?
Right. No, it's locker room talk.
Yeah, locker room.
You're like,
talk.
No one says that.
I don't ever say that, and that's how I always said to people, to men that voted for him with daughters. I was just like, But then you really look at it and like Hillary Clinton's not that great of a example of somebody to be if you're raising a daughter either. It's like, yeah,
no.
If you're a good woman and somebody publicly humiliates you by cheating on you, by getting their dick sucked on the job, and it becomes the biggest news piece in the world, you should stay with them.
And they're still married.
Imagine
still married.
Imagine raising your daughter to believe that's how you should operate.
And he was going to be the first man if she got elected. First
I'm
one ever.
Big Bill guy for sure.
Oh yeah, Bill Clinton's the man. I think it's awesome. I think it's hilarious that he got impeached for lying about Monica Lewinsky. And people are like, Trump shouldn't be impeached for whatever the fuck he did. And I'm like, but Bill got a blowjob.
Yeah.
It's not that
we
bad.
Lied about it.
Like, what? Talk about standards. Like,
I mean, he tried to manipulate, using a foreign country, manipulate
the election.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which seems pretty bad in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That might be the worst thing.
But
somebody can get a blowjob. I always say,
apparently
first of all,
it's a lot
I didn't know that this
better
wasn't
than a blowjob.
Well, the thing that is crazy to me, like, if I was ever to become president, I would definitely make it a disclaimer within my contract that were to receive a blowjob once a day.
Right.
I think that'd be important. I can't be like making world impacting decisions with just a full load. You know what I mean? Like, I should probably get one blowy a day.
Right.
And
you're the president.
I need to make decisions with a clear mind.
You've earned that, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you're running the country.
I don't know if the first lady's always going to be available for that.
Yeah. It's like the whole Robert Kraft thing with him like getting a hand job at like a Asian massage parlor.
I'm sure he's got a lot on his mind.
It's like that old man could be doing such worse things.
I know.
Than paying a nice Asian lady to just give him a tug a little bit.
Hiring like indentured servants throughout Asia. Or
he's a fucking like billionaire. He could be doing whatever. He could be Jeffrey Epstein.
He could be fucking a 12-year-old.
Right.
Yeah. Instead, he's getting a handy from a very legal Asian woman.
And she agreed to it.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah. She even got paid.
Yeah.
So so you're really disrespecting sex workers at this point, and that's not very.
I'm a libertarian. I think it should be legal. I think if that's the line of work you want to do,
sex work. Cool. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I was
just
in
prostitution
Amsterdam.
should be legal.
Yeah,
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I agree.
I think a lot of people would be less frustrated if it was. There would be a lot less weirdos.
A lot of things should be legal.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a time.
Yeah, what a time. This might be a good place to wrap this up. It is 8 o'clock.
Yeah, should we do it?
Yeah. This was great, man.
Yeah, man.
It was good talking to you. Appreciate you coming over. Good luck in LA.
Yeah.
Feel free to come back anytime.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all. Michael Turner, look me up. Stalk me on social media.
Yeah, when are your dates of your shows?
If
Sundays
anybody's in LA,
up?
so I think it's like the last Sunday of the next few months. So
you got one in January?
January 26th, okay. February 23rd, March 22nd.
There you go.
The first ones of the 2020 year, and we'll keep it moving. So it'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got to sell out the shows.
Mm-hmm. Pack it out.
3-month trial.
Come through.
What happens after that? I was going to ask you. I mean, you got a 3-month trial, and then...
So I mean, it's kind of one of those, like I've talked to the people that run shit there, and they're cool with me. I was just at the holiday party at the Comedy Store, so I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not too worried about it. We'll get they just only book out quarterly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so we'll get it going, and as long as the show wants to continue, we'll keep rocking.
And what does that look like? Do you get to start doing spots at the Comedy Store? Are you going to try to be like a paid regular eventually?
I mean, that's always
your goal?
Things to try. Yeah, I mean that's the goal. But the goal is really to entrench myself in the LA scene. I know a lot of people. I'll be doing Don't Tell Comedy out there.
Okay.
As well as still back here. And then while I'm in Los Angeles, hopefully find some work within comedy. So I've got some lines of communication already in place that just working my angles, people I know and stuff like that. But do that and continue to just push with the stand up and be as good as I can and differentiate myself. You don't got to be the best, but you just got to be unique, and you got to be really funny within that lane. And
likable when you get off stage.
Yeah, I mean that helps for sure.
Yeah,
that definitely helps, and I'm good at that too.
Yeah,
for the most part. So yeah, just go out there and keep pushing and take the next step and try to be something and do the right actions in the right market. I know if I was doing the same shit I've been doing in Phoenix for the last 3 years in LA, I'd probably already be, doing some shit. So the nice thing is I've done roasts out here. I've done, I've written for shows out here. I've done a lot of shit in Phoenix that I don't think a lot of people have done with this market. And so I'm proud of that and see what I can do out in LA. Hopefully make sure that I'm doing shit in LA that nobody's ever done.
Yeah, man. That'll be dope.
So, yeah.
Good luck to you.
Appreciate it, man.
Didn't get to see you while you were in Phoenix a whole lot, but I caught you on the tail end, so.
That's the only time that matters.
I would love to come out and catch a show at the Comedy Store. That's like always what I've wanted to do is fucking go watch some shit at the Comedy Store. Like, I wish I lived in LA so I could watch some fucking Wednesday night shows, you know what I mean?
Tuesday's the best night.
Fucking any night with all the killers on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, good luck. Follow Mike online. Catch This Week Sucks tonight.
Yep.
At the Comedy Store in LA.
Yep.
And
God
we'll keep in touch, man.
2020.
I'll see you next time.
Holla.
Thanks, everyone. Peace.
Later.